Scarlett Johansson suing Disney for breach of contract after it streamed her superhero film Black Widow at the same time as in the cinematic release. The film set box office record for the COVID pandemic, grossing $218 million in its first weekend. However, Disney said it had fully complied with her contract and that her case had no merit whatsoever. Well, I wanted to get a cinema insider to talk about this. To discuss further, we're joined by Moses Babatope, a co-founder, managing director at FilmOne Entertainment and the group executive director at Film House Cinemas. Moses, good morning. Thanks for joining us. What do you make of this case, Moses?
Good morning, Rotus. Thanks for having me, and thank you for shedding another spotlight on our industry. It's a very interesting one. It's one that's also dicey for me in terms of, putting out an opinion. But I think, like we shared before several times, coming as a guest on your program, we're in very, very special and peculiar times. And there's a lot of sensitivity around the, exclusive cinema window. There is a lot of sensitivity with investors, film financiers about tying down capital for a while. There's a lot of sensitivity around when to make films available for audiences, be it at home or the cinema. I think this is what is all playing up. I definitely think that it will be resolved one way or the other. And I see what from both sides. I see, like I mentioned, film financiers having an issue of, having to postpone the release for such a long while and just having to, take faith and open it when it opened. And I see from the cast or talent points of view where, a lot of the back end is tied to the theatrical release. I'm sure that calmer heads would prevail at some point. But what's in focus and what cannot be removed is the sanctity of the theatrical window. I think once, hopefully, the pandemic starts dying down, we'll see that the cinema business will rebound very well.
All right, excellent. And Moses, I saw the film in cinemas here in Nigeria. Is streaming, though, is it here to stay? Because this is all as a result of what streaming was able to accomplish during the pandemic when people were stuck indoors. So is this just something that, your business has to deal with going forward?
I think without a shadow of a doubt, streaming is here to stay. It's here not necessarily to be a competition to the theatrical experience. Like I've said severally, I think it's here to be a complementary experience, a complementary option. It's also here to be a value-adding option, to the life cycle of any film investment. That's what I see. I think for our territory, Nigeria, for Africa, for West Africa, we have to go about it, in a very measured and a very calculated way, that it doesn't become counterproductive, that there has to be a theatrical window for films that are worthy of the cinema, exposure. And then the streaming window and all other windows, like even the in-flight, that's when it starts to benefit, everyone. I think what we've also seen that if we try, merging the windows, as in the case of Black Widow, the disadvantages are beyond the advantages, particularly if you just look at the piracy. I think it said that on a torrent or file sharing tracking site that Black Widow was like the number one sought after content, in terms of pirate links. So it tells you how much money is being left on the table if this is not delicately handled. And like I said, I understand both sides of the divide. But like you asked the question, I think streaming is here to stay, but we can, maximize the, potential of both sides, the streaming and the cinema window.
Thanks, Moses. Okay, before I let you go, how has the recovery been for Nigerian cinemas so far this year in 2021?
So it will be unfair to say that Nigeria hasn't bucked the trend, and we have for a number of reasons. I think we've been very fortunate and blessed as a country in general with the way the pandemic has panned out here. Some thanks to the government and the way they've also been proactive, particularly in Lagos. And thanks to them also in the way they've handled, cinemas and mall developments in general. the fact that we have local content that have continued to serve the market has helped ramp up our recovery better than other parts of the world. But we're happy that in the last 2-3 months, the releases of Fast and Furious, the releases of Black Widow, releases of G.I. Joe. This weekend we have Dwayne Johnson's film Jungle Cruise coming out, and we have Suicide Squad next week, and a lot of films coming out now. It's beginning to show us that, something that cinema goers are ready to return, and the business is looking good. So we're excited about what it can be, and let me put it this way: slow but steady recovery.
Fantastic stuff. Moses Babatope, co-founder, managing director at FilmOne Entertainment, group executive director at Filmhouse Cinemas. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.